Hi everyone, my name is Kendall Koss and this is a presentation of my parent-teacher literacy workshop. In simple terms, literacy is the ability to read and write, but we're going to take it just a step further. Literacy is also having the skills and the abilities to identify, interact, interpret, create, and communicate through written and printed materials. Literacy also provides manageable goals to develop interest and deepen knowledge among all ages. Literacy can also help build confidence and boost self-esteem while encouraging independent learning, enhancing cognitive ability, and strengthening brain function, while improving attention span and creating enriching communication skills. So now that we have a better understanding as to what literacy is, let's take a look at some literacy concepts that we like to look for in those beginning readers. Here I have provided an infographic that I found on the Parker Memorial Library website, and it highlights the early literacy skills. Reading is in the middle in this circle, and all of these components lie outside and they contribute to reading. So let's take a look at what some of those early concepts are. The first one is print awareness, which really just is students being able to understand how to hold the book, being able to identify the author, illustrator, knowing where the cover is, the back, the spine, and being able to read a book from left to right. The next concept that we like to look for is letter knowledge, which is understanding specific letter names and the sounds that each letter can make. Next, we strive for vocabulary, which is the words and the meanings that they have. When students are able to recall those vocabulary words and point them out, that's a great sign for some emergent reading. The next one is narrative skills, which is being able to describe and recall events in the stories, being able to retell the story, or even recall or create their own stories based on prior experience. The next concept is phonological awareness, which is the ability to hear sounds and make those sounds into words. The next one is print motivation, which is what sparks interest and gets students building goals in reading. The next handout that I would give my parents would be the Scarborough's Rope, which basically has all of those concepts and more listed and reels them into the overall goal of reading fluency. So let's take a closer look into the Scarborough's Rope. On the top here, we have increasing strategic components, which like background knowledge, vocab, language structure, verbal reasoning, and literature knowledge. Those are all things that students have to work for, practice, and really maintain their goals to achieve that. And then down at the bottom, we have increasing automatic word recognition, which is like phonological awareness, decoding, and sight words. So those things kind of come naturally when they're practiced and when the students are exposed to environments like print, when they're able to see the alphabet when they're reading. Those become kind of just like common practice and common knowledge for the students, whereas these top ones, they really need to work hard for, understand and engage that background knowledge and their verbal reasoning, know what the vocabulary is, etc. But together, the increasingly strategic and the automatic, they will eventually lead into the overall goal of skilled reading. So this is definitely a handout that I would give to my parents, which highlights the stages of literacy development from infancy all the way up to fluent readers in the grade school levels. So let's take a closer look at these developmentally appropriate ages for literacy milestones. The first one included is ages birth to 2 years, and it mentions listening and speaking skills. Children at this age are not strong at communicating, so they rely on sign language like more, thank you, all done to communicate with their parents or their guardians. They also really heavily rely on the listening skills to develop their own verbal language. The next stage is ages 2 to 4, where we see rhyme awareness and oral word play. Students are picking up on fun books like Dr. Seuss, and we're hearing those rhyming words. We're understanding that cat, hat, that all rhyme. And those 2 to 4 year children would just love to have a Dr. Seuss book with them. The next stage is ages 3 to 5 years, which is syllable awareness. Students are understanding and they're hearing those words being broken into separate parts. One thing that you can do with your children to kind of teach syllable awareness, I love this method and I still use it to this day. If you say a word like bird, the number of syllables will be the time that your chin hits the back of your hand. So bird only hits it once. If I said something like cupcake, how many syllables would I have? 2. If I said fire truck, that would also be 2. So students are definitely recognizing those syllables and breaking words up. The next age range is 4 to 5, where we hear onset and rhyme in spoken words. Age range 4 to 7 is phonemic awareness in spoken words. Around 4 to 7, students are understanding phonics and sound and letter relationships. The TH in that is different than the TA in tat. By 5 to 7, students are reading, they're understanding phonics, they're able to spell. And then 7 and beyond, we hope that we are in our advanced reading. Students are reading a little bit more independently and understanding the concepts of the story they're reading, and then they are able to create their own stories using verbal and written text. Next, we're going to take a look at why literacy at home is so important and what parents and guardians can do to support their children during their literacy journeys at home. By including literacy practices in their home, parents and caregivers can develop their children's reading ability, comprehension, and language skills, while also improving children's interest in reading, improve their overall attitude towards reading, and sharpen concentration levels. Early reading experiences with parents can help prepare children for the benefits of literacy instruction. And research shows that the earlier parents become involved in their children's literacy practice, the more profound the results are and the longer lasting the effects can be. The benefits of parental involvement extend beyond the realm of literacy and education achievement, and studies show that children whose parents are involved show greater social and emotional development, including more resilience to stress, greater life satisfaction, greater self-discipline and direct, greater self-control, social adjustment, greater mental health, more supportive relationships later in life, greater social competence, more peer relationships, more tolerance and patience. It can lead to more successful marriages and fewer delinquent behaviors later in their adulthood. Some examples of literacy engagement at home can include, but is not limited to, joint reading, which is adults and children taking turn reading parts of a book, and when reading, taking short breaks, where the adult asks to connect the story either from the child's previous experiences or prior knowledge, and have them ask questions, use higher order thinking, give feedback, and ask open-ended questions during joint reading to boost his or her interest in critical thinking skills. Another thing adults can do is drawing, singing, storytelling, reciting, game playing, and rhyming. Another helpful thing is using various medias like audiobooks, interactive books, visual storytelling, and even technology, which can all help children become ready to enter their schooling years and that formal literacy instruction. They can also go to school knowing adaptable skills to modern day technology. It's also important to talk to your child about using technology in creative ways and using it in a safe way as well. These talks can boost language development, build background knowledge, and help your child develop useful skills. being an educated consumer of information on the internet by reviewing the abilities of the developers, by citing their work, knowing if their information is credible or not, check the quality, usefulness, and the content of the information that's being shared online, and really emphasize internet safety if you are implementing technology into your reading practices at home. So one tool that I found to be really helpful in this process is the learningsuccessblog.com. It provided me this great infographic of some examples that parents and caregivers can implement in their homes to help build their children's literacy and reading skills. It included things like reading a mystery with your child and trying to figure out the clues together. Another one said if there's a movie version coming out of a book, read with your child that book before the movie comes out and then see it. I remember doing that in my own middle school experiences. The new Hobbit movie was coming out, and so my English class, we read it and then took a field trip to go see the Hobbit movie. And it was really cool being able to share the experience with my friends and my classmates and then go to the movies together and connect and be able to relate the movie film adaptation to the text. It was really cool. Another example listed was to model good behavior to your students or your child by reading yourselves. It also mentioned doing crossword puzzles and word searches and things that activate students' minds and gets them thinking. Another great resource coming from the same Learning Success blog is a reading difficulty identifier test that parents can take if they believe their child is struggling with a reading disability. There was an analysis that could potentially help identify dyslexia or pacing issues, and then it recommends some great tools based on the evaluations to help boost your child's morale and their self-esteem and strengthen some of those skills that they may be lacking. This infographic that I would also use as a handout then takes those examples from the Learning Success blog and puts them into some developmentally appropriate age categories based on young, older, or adolescent children. For young children, the National Center of Improving Literacy recommends reading books and nursery rhymes aloud together, talking daily about home and community life, singing, drawing, and telling stories in a make-believe sense. For older children, playing word games, discussing word meanings, pointing out interesting or unfamiliar words, ask questions before, during, or after reading. So engaging that prior knowledge. When you're joint reading, asking them questions, relating it back to a vacation that they took or something they saw at school, something they saw at the park. In your adolescence, talking about learning and connecting to school, to your reading is also important, and offering a literacy-rich environment for those older readers while also modeling good behavior and reading yourselves as an adult. So now that we know some age-appropriate developmental milestones in the literacy journey in children, let's go ahead and take a look at how we can support each age group. First, for our younger students, I included this poster that I would hang up in my classroom or somewhere at home. It models what a good reader looks like, and it's you. A good reader uses their eyes, their ears, they are using their imagination, they're asking questions, using those reading strategies that they're learning, and they're predicting and thinking about what's happening next. For those older students, and even the younger students, having the alphabet and letter recognizable cards and posters around the classroom and your home will help children definitely learn those sight words, understand their phonics and the letters and their sounds. For those older students, you can even label around your house the door, the lights, objects in your kitchen. Things like that will help the students recognize print and know those words by the objects. Again, for our older and maybe into our adolescent readers, these cards that apply the reading and literacy concepts are really helpful. This one talks about the print within the books, the cover, the back of the book, all parts of the book, the author, the illustrator, important things to know. And then this poster is a little bit more higher order thinking. It has students visualize, predict, infer about what's happening next, make conclusions, draw on to, add on to, things like that. This will really help students understand the process of reading and hopefully use that into any books that they read in their future. Lastly, I don't know what happened there. Lastly, for our older students, I would recommend having posters that just show our love for reading and makes it enjoyable, shows that we care about reading and we want to make it adventurous. Some of these fun printouts say, just one more chapter, read more books. Once you learn to read, you will be forever free. So many books, so little time. Something magical can happen when you read a book. So when students are able to read that or ask, what does that poster say? We're telling them, just one more chapter. Once you learn to read, you will be free. This is really encouraging and just promotes a really great atmosphere and environment for those students and gets them really amped up about reading. So now that we've covered what literacy is, what some concepts and skills of literacy are, developmental stages of literacy in children, let's go ahead and get into some examples of books that parents can read to their children depending on their ages. I found this great website called commonsensemedia.org, and you're able to look up books based on certain age ranges. So for example, let's go ahead and try preschoolers and see what kind of books come up. So the preschool age is 2 to 4, and we see Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus. We see Good Night, Construction Site by Sherry Dusky Rinker. We see Good Night Moon, The Sunny Day, The Very Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carle, Where the Wild Things Are. And if we go up to the top, we can go ahead and adjust the age range. Let's go to big kids, 8 to 9. Oh, and we start to see the Harry Potter books, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. New Kid by Jerry Craft. That book came out in 2019. I haven't checked that one out. The Tale of Despero, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, and Anne of Green Gables is also on there, one of my favorites. So this was a really great resource for you to see some age-appropriate books for your learner. I also thought this was a really great website because there's lists. So there was the best games for kids, the best podcast for kids, 50 books most kids should read before they're 12. So this was a really fun website, and it was safe. It's parent-led, that you can use in your home and get some resources and examples for activities to include in your home for your child. Now that we have some sample books that we can read to our children at home, let's go ahead and think about how we can evaluate and monitor our students' progress. One way that I would recommend keeping track of progress is by having a reading log that you date, you title the name of the book that you were reading, for how long and how many pages were read. This box is check 1, and it says somebody read aloud to me, somebody and I shared reading the book together, or I independently read this book by myself. And then obviously having the parent signature to then clarify that the student did in fact read, and for the amount and for the length that they did. Another tool that I would also recommend is by having students either write their own short little paragraph kind of summarizing what they read, the characters, things like that, or they could even verbalize it and kind of recall and retell the story to you if they are younger and unable to write themselves. But those are both some great ways that you can monitor and track your students' progress at home.